hello out there, and glad to have you watching the program once again. Here we are, another week, and another guest. And I have a very, very interesting guest. I say that because he's going to be working on a project. I probably should say he is working on a project at this point that's been waiting for someone for years and years and years. It's developed in the city of Fall River that a mill in the South End has become neglected. The city had to take it back for back taxes, and they were looking for someone to buy it and develop it, of course. And they finally have. After a number of years, a number of proposals, they finally have found someone, and he is now working on what he's going to do there at the old King Phillip Mill in the South End that sits on a beautiful, beautiful crooked pond. So, welcome to the program, Mr. Kfoury, engineer.
Thank you so much, Richard.
Nice to have you.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Here. Well, let's start off with how did you find out about the King Phillip Mill and its availability?
Obviously, I live in the city of Fall River. I'm very proud to be living in Fall River, and with my wife and kids. And I learned about this about 6-7 years ago. When this came about, that the city took it back for taxes, and they advertised several times for developers like myself if they have any interest of taking over this project. So I was hoping someone comes and will spend the money, $20-30 million, to make this into a 100-unit apartment. So obviously, as you know, all their efforts had failed.
Yeah, the last proposal didn't go anywhere.
Yes, as you know.
It seemed that the gentleman was very sincere and came to our meetings in the South End Neighborhood Association a number of times, but was not able to go through. Yeah, he was the bidder, I would say like the second time around.
Second time, yes.
And he actually won the bid.
That is correct.
But failed to move forward with the conditions of the purchase and sale. It put you from second place to first place. And are you currently the owner, or are you waiting to close on this?
I am currently under purchase and sale agreement.
When is the closing date?
It's set to be end of February.
Okay,
of this February, a couple more weeks. But obviously, we have a lot of things that we've done since then, which is we produced, according to the bid documents, you had to produce what they call a pre-demolition audit.
Now, has that been done?
That's been done. As you know, at the auction, they had a memorandum of sale.
What is the pre-demolition audit? What does that entail?
The pre-demolition audit actually to put a developer or a local person that bid this project, that he's well aware of what the situation of the mill, what's in the mill actually. These mills come with a lot of stuff inside them, no different than any other mill that you purchase in the city. Obviously, inside they have a little bit of lead paint, some asbestos tile they've been using before. Throughout the whole mill, you'll find around pipe insulation, around boilers, you'll find storage, which is gasoline and oil storage tank.
This has to be remedied before actual demolition takes place.
That's what this is all about.
All right, so it's pre-demolition.
Yes.
All right, okay, now we get it.
Pre-demolition,
so all that has to be cleaned up first.
Right.
And then the actual big demolition can take place.
That's correct. So you have to tell the city or tell someone where you're going to dispose of all the material coming out of the mill. You have to identify locations and who is involved with you, what engineers are involved with you.
Where are the locations these days for disposal of asbestos?
Asbestos goes out of here. Some of them goes to New Hampshire. Some of them goes to different locations. It depends of what contractor you hire. Of course, he seeks prices and stuff like that.
Asbestos?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That one thing I don't know.
Right. You submitted already the pre-demolition
I did.
audit, and are you waiting for them to approve? Is that it?
The pre-demolition audit was part of the bidding process. A couple conditions when you went to bid this project at auction. The memorandum of sale said you have to have a check for $25,000 minimum bid, a certified check, which you had to produce. And the second condition was if you end up to be the winning bidder, which obviously, as you know, what you
Yeah.
just mentioned. So the winning bidder, he has 10 days to hire the proper licensed site professional, which produces the document that pre-demolition audit. So I did hire a licensed site professional to go through this with us. And luckily, the city had done what they call a phase 2. And phase 2 will just go over every single building in the mill, identifying what's inside them. It's a very extensive report that the city had already paid for.
So the audit is sort of a list of things. This
Right.
area has to be cleaned up because it has asbestos. This area has to be cleaned up because maybe there's
Yes.
some hazardous
Right.
oil or gas,
Sure,
gas.
Richard.
But,
And how they do it, how they do it, they take sampling. In this particular case, there was more than 250, 300 samples. Just to give you an example, they go around pipe, they take a chip of the insulation, they put it in a testing sample, and they send it to the lab. Same thing, the roof flashing.
how long did that take to
It would
accomplish?
the sampling process take about, that's inside the building, by the way.
Yeah.
It takes usually about 2 to 3 weeks to produce the samples from each location of the building. They will be sent to a certified lab, and the lab will produce all the results that tells you which is compliant, which is not in compliance.
And then, of course, you get a cost estimate, I imagine,
Yes.
as to
Yeah.
how this can be.
That's why
remedy.
it's a little bit complicated for someone that doesn't know what he's doing to get involved with something like this.
Now, you said the inside of the building, which I think you implied that maybe something must be done with the outside.
Yes, the outside is also the same company with a different section of a group of the company. They do what they insert borings into the ground. They drill holes in about between 10 to 15 feet in the ground, and they stick pipes, and they bore the soil. In other words, they take sampling,
Take a core out.
take a core out, and sample at each 2 feet what's in the ground, and they send it also to a lab.
Now,
That has been done also.
that has been done.
That is
Okay.
correct.
So
It's
you-
called phase 2 of the project.
So you've moved right along with this whole process. All right, and once that's all analyzed and it's determined what is there on that site, then I imagine you'll get a price to remedy it,
Sure.
and
Just-
get it cleaned up.
Yes. Just to say, every single mill that you purchase or you look into it has similar things inside it.
All right.
Not a lot, but they used to use, obviously, asbestos in some location, lead paint in some location, like they've done in the past.
Yeah.
So those are things today you have to take care of them. It's not really out of the ordinary.
All right, so once that's completed, then you'll be moving into full demolition.
That's the great news. I'm preparing myself for this day that everyone is going to see the pond.
Okay, let's hold this first graft up, and maybe we can get a close up.
Sure.
And all right, this first graph shows the tree mills.
Aerial photo of the tree mills. And
this is if people who want to
Watching.
get an idea. This is Dwelly Street. Cook Pond is over here. You go by Dwelly, you see the wall. That's Kilburn Street over here. So these basically are the two streets, Dwelly and Kilburn, that are around the mill area. So in the first process, you're going to take down.
First process, we will be taking down the 2-story building that's called Crown Linen. I'm sure everyone knows there's a sign outside the building. And that's great. As I just put it through the master planning of what we're going to do, we need this location to stage the cranes and the equipment to take down the second mill, which is this one. So once this mill goes down,
4 stories.
which is 4-story high,
So that's
it's
what
quite high.
The idea of the crane and the staging area, that sounds like a very logical idea.
Right, so we'll work from inside the mill complex instead of working from the street, and we're having to block the streets and stuff like that.
Your neighbors are going to be happy about that.
My heart is with the neighbors. Obviously, as you know, I attended several meetings at the South End, and it was amazing to
Yeah.
deal with everyone that's involved with this for years and years and years.
Now, this portion here is going to remain? Is that what you said before?
This mill is actually magnificent, is beautiful. Once we clean up the outside of it and demolish the chimney, the infamous chimney is gonna come down, and all the related smaller buildings. So we will preserve this mill and we will make mixed use out of it, trying to bring some light manufacturing jobs to Fall River.
All right, stores?
Not really. Light manufacturing, assembly type of work, maybe a little bit of sewing and stuff like that.
Woodworking shop?
Woodworking shop, small stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we can do that.
Well, it's an excellent location.
Right.
I mean, the workers get that access to the
Correct.
pond, have their lunch.
Correct.
Meditech has a gorgeous building along
Exactly.
South Wattupa
Exactly.
Pond.
Exactly. So we're seeking the permission to have light manufacturing and
Get
also
Meditech over there.
that'll be beautiful, or apartments or something else. I'm just looking for ideas. Obviously,
Yeah,
right now, I know for
Now,
fact
how many stories?
this is 5-story high
Wow.
plus basement.
An apartment up there overlooking the pond?
That'll be great.
Fantastic.
That'll be great. So this
How
is.
about the elevator? Now,
Oh yeah, obviously, this building is going to need a new elevator, maybe 2 elevators. So it's significant, this building, to do
but
the remodel.
that's the last phase of the project, actually.
That is
This
correct.
would come first, second, and then you'll start building.
Yeah.
We've got a plan here to show the process of building. So, once you get Crown will be...
Crown building is located right here.
Right over here, but after you get these 2 buildings down,
Yes.
well, then really, that's the land area for the,
This is a subdivision plan
yeah.
for the 26 single-family houses.
Which one would you start first?
It has to be all demolished.
No, but what house would,
I don't know.
Okay.
We'll decide as we just move into this, because I have to build a road also to create a private cul-de-sac, basically going down and going up and going up that
you
way.
have to bring services in there,
have to
water,
yes.
sewer,
That is correct.
electricity.
Yes. I'm very excited about this plan. I mean, this is at the wish of the neighbor, the south end.
Now, will
That's what they wanted to see
these
happen.
be 3-bedroom?
They will be 3-bedroom market price homes, as you can see, for people to buy and live in.
1-story, 2-story?
Colonials, raised ranches, stuff like that.
So it'll be a mixed type of...
Mixed beautiful homes.
Area.
As you can see, some of them will overlook the pond. It's very nice. Some of the lots are big, and some of them are average size. So
Yeah.
I'm very excited about this.
And this is the portion over here that'll remain after some cleanup, a little demolition, but that's for the
Yes.
mixed-use building, right
Right.
over here.
Right.
All right. Okay.
I just want to mention, Richard, at the wish of the neighbors, obviously, when you read the memorandum of sale, they said they would love to see 2 buildings being demolished.
Yeah.
You know, you're from the south end. I'm sure you attended the meeting, and they want to see one of the building being preserved. So that's what I'm doing at this point.
You have,
is
you
at the
have
wish of the neighbors.
your eye on this area here where the sheds are?
I just want to do things what they call baby steps, which is get this thing done first and move to the next one. This whole area we will change for good, for the positive.
That was the
for
old
something beautiful.
cotton sheds.
Correct, yeah. This is all going to change. I envision this is going to be very, very nice. You will be able to see the pond. You'll be able to drive and see.
Now-
Obviously, don't forget about the green space, by the way.
Yeah.
We're going to give this green space to the neighbor. It's not shown on this plan 100%. But as I mentioned,
Public access?
public access. This whole area right here, fronting on the pond on this side, on Dwelly Street, it will be preserved for
And will there be a
public.
walkway?
It will be a walkway. This will be of course, in coordination with the city of Fall River. The mayor's office is very excited about this project, obviously, and Representative Alan Sylvia is very excited about this. Everyone is excited about this that's involved with this.
Well, it looks really good, really good. Okay.
I'm just so, anxious to start because, like you just mentioned before, this been in the works for a long time, and
Well, it's a
many efforts has failed. And
very, very historic building. Will you, in the proposed mixed-use building, will you have some kind of historic memorabilia of King Phillip Mill?
that is correct.
You will?
Of course.
Like a picture?
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
there's families, I'm sure there are families in the area that have pictures of their
people working in it.
grandfather,
Yeah.
uncle, and, you know, would be happy to donate, to have it put up on a wall.
That'll be
you know, like
great.
in the entryway.
Yes. Anybody during demolition wants anything from that place for memory, anything like this, we will be
Well, that was
more
the
than glad
question
to
I was
give them.
gonna. What
Sure.
about, like, are you gonna be able to sell some of the lumber? I mean, you get some huge timbers.
So the great news about this, why am I so excited? Because I'm a big fan of recycling.
Wood.
So
Wood is valuable.
the wood is extremely valuable in this building. Obviously, to just take it apart, it's quite the process. You can envision some of the beams with the planks on them, the 5-inch planks, they have very big nails going into the wood. So all has to be removed by hand.
All tongue and groove.
But I will contract to a local company, and they did tell me that they will salvage almost every single piece of wood in this mill, and it will be turned into magnificent furniture.
They resaw and.
And some of the granite in the mill also will be put to use, some of the headers, some of the stuff that's in the mill. So it will be quite the process is to sort through all the material and try to
Do you
basically
have
reserve
any idea what the floor planks are made of? What kind of wood?
pine, southern yellow pine. So they tell me this stuff is extremely valuable. I don't know much about it, but that we hire the professionals.
You know, you're in the building trades, wood prices is always going up. Buy a
Yes,
piece of-
especially this type of wood, you know.
Yeah.
They use it for flooring, for everything else.
Furniture making, I mean, once you resaw it and get it planed and, well,
We're heading in this direction. We file at the zoning board. I just want to give you the good news today.
yeah, zoning board.
We file at the zoning board, and
And what did you file with the zoning
we
board?
filed this plan at the zoning board. We need the permission of the city to go forward with this. What we just
Now, have you got it rezoned yet?
that's what the process. Zoning board, it means to get it rezoned.
Okay,
The way this project sits now, it's industrial zone. The whole parcel is industrial zone.
Yeah.
Obviously, as you know, this was manufacturing. And the city has recently put what they call another zone on top of it, allowing whoever buys it to do apartments, which means you could turn any of the
so
buildings
is
into
it
apartments.
residential at this point?
Well, residential apartments is different from residential single-family houses.
So are you going before the ZBA to get it zoned for residential?
Yes. We're going to the zoning board to approve this entire plan as it sits in front of you, as everyone in the neighborhood wanted to see. And this is what we're presenting to the zoning board, the 25 single-family houses and this building that we're gonna seek for the mixed use with all the related parking.
All right, and when is your date with the zoning board?
We filed today, I believe it will be next month. I don't know what date, the 15. My engineer will let me know when is the hearing date.
Okay, and you have SciTech.
Yes, we hired a very professional engineering firm. I'm very pleased with their plan. Obviously, this is the idea.
They're 90% in front of the ZBA.
Yes, they do a great job, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that is in a few weeks from now. Do you think you envision any opposition?
You know, like I said to the neighbors, my plan, my idea for this, after looking at this mill for about 5 years, watching the mill, watching who's gonna buy it, what they're gonna do with it, obviously your idea is as good as mine. So I looked at it over and over again, and my idea is to turn this, because I'm a residential home developer. That's what I do, and that's what I come up with, and obviously to give you access to the pond and see what's this plan for me is from my engineering vision, it will be the ultimate for this location. You know, obviously, is it the best idea? I don't know. Some people have different kind of ideas.
Well, at this point, it's the only idea.
So the other bidder that was looking at this to buy it, he was going to do 240 apartments.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit too much for this area, 240 apartments.
But he's out of it now anyway.
He's out of it, but that's another idea, to turn this place into apartments. 240 apartments is a lot of apartments.
But that's not what you propose.
That's not what I'm proposing whatsoever. I'm just doing the 25 single-family houses, market value, and also, as you can see, preserving this next mill as I mentioned before, to be mixed use.
Yeah.
Could be apartments, could be light manufacturing, could be whatever.
Yeah, so the bottom maybe could be, like you say, light
Yeah.
manufacturing
Yeah.
or something. And
That'll be great. And I'm looking for ideas.
office space,
Yeah, I'm looking for ideas. If somebody has a
Nice
great
place.
idea, I'm willing to entertain it.
nice office, overlook that Cook Pond.
It's going to be gorgeous, as you know.
Watch
It's going to
those
be all cleaned up,
Ducks
perfect.
flow in, fly in, yeah. Well, that sounds like a real good project. Do we expect you back in front of the South End neighborhood meeting
That's,
in the near future?
I enjoy going to the meetings. At first, I was like, okay, whatever. But now I enjoy going. I met
Well, you
everyone.
got a
at
lot of friends there now.
I got a lot of friends now. I met them there because you have to come through with your word. It's very, very important. This project is real. I stepped forward actually to just I wanted to see this project go forward. And that was so important to me. I just want to, I'm a doer. I just don't want to talk about things, just get them done.
Now, you did the Henry Lord School project?
I did several projects in the city. One of them is the old Henry Lord School.
Yeah.
At the time, at the wish of the Maplewood Association, they wanted to see this building go away and single-family houses being built there. As you know, you'll drive by all the time. I've done the demolition and I built the single-family houses, and they're all sold market price to people that live there. They take care of their yard. It's very nice, and they put it back on the tax roll. That's the idea.
So the city has confidence in you.
Very much so.
I mean, you've done a few projects,
Right.
so you're not someone who's just coming out of the woodwork with some idea, and you got the financial backing, which is
Yes.
you had to prove to the city that you
That's
had
very
financial
important.
backing.
Yes.
Otherwise,
Right. You had to. I just want to say just as you know, if you want to buy a single-family house anywhere,
you got to go to the bank usually.
you gotta go to the bank.
Get pre-approved.
All right. So the rule says, right, you gotta have 5% minimum to be able to purchase a house, and then the rest, even if you have more, that's fine. But you have to get what they call a mortgage commitment
Yeah.
that allows you to purchase the house. In commercial development, which is what we're doing here,
Yeah.
you need minimum 25% in your bank account.
In the bank account.
In the bank, which means if you're doing a $4 million project, you have to have 25% of $4 million in order for the bank to
no,
qualify.
$1 million. No, well, you said 4 million.
25% of 4 million is, you're good in maths, is 1 million.
Yeah, but you're saying 40 million. That's
If you have a $40 million project, you need 25% of the 40 million.
yeah.
So, and then you have to have the money in your bank account for past 2 years. You can't just say, my mother gave me a check, or my father gave me a check, or my neighbor gave me a check. You have to prove.
That's interesting.
Even in a if you buy in a single family house, obviously, as I told you, I'm a residential developer.
Yeah.
Even in a single family house, you have to have 5% minimum.
So grandma can't give you the 5%?
There are some rules you could get around this if you're first-time home buyer, but generally speaking,
Making $50,000 a week, but you don't have 5,000 in the bank.
Yes,
But
that's-
grandma is willing to give it to you so you can buy this house.
I don't think that works because they want to see this money being saved by you. The whole idea is for you to be responsible to pay.
All right, yeah, I can
So
understand.
that's people
yeah.
don't know that. So obviously, when you're doing a commercial entity,
They want to make sure
They
you're
wanna make
really a
sure-
good saver.
and the banks look at one thing very important. People don't realize it. It's called average daily balance in your bank account, which means how long this money has been sitting in your bank account. They want to know you're going to do the project.
So you had to come forward with some
Yes.
bona fide financials
Yes.
to satisfy the city that you were
In
gonna
this
be able to-
particular project, Richard, I'm going to do this. Basically, I have the funding to do this, what I just said, knock down the building and take care of it. If we require more funding to do the next building, we'll go forward with this. But this, we have the sufficient fund.
And
I have sufficient fund to take care of this, what I call.
And as you sell the houses, you'll be
That is
building
correct.
up a reserve or a fund
Excellent.
to go to the next phase
That
of
is
the
true.
project.
That's
Yeah.
why I like what they call the baby steps.
Yeah, well,
So,
I mean, it makes sense, you know, you don't,
Right.
you want to do it so
right.
it's controllable, you know, you get responsible people, and it moves along, and you don't have to have sleepless nights, right?
So mortgage, intent to give mortgage is not a mortgage too. People that in the construction business, you could get a letter that says their intent to give you the finance. That doesn't mean finance. Finance, official finance, is a mortgage commitment that they will finance the
Yeah,
project.
you get that letter.
You have to have mortgage commitment, which is a significant thing for you to do. to get the mortgage
And
commitment to do a project.
you've got that, you've done that
I've got
already.
that, yes.
Otherwise, you wouldn't even be this far, right?
That is correct.
So closing is in a couple of
Closing
weeks?
hopefully in 2 weeks, but I filed with the zoning board. Everyone knows that I'm going to seek.
Is it dependent on zoning board approval before you close?
I would really like that because the prior buyer had plenty of time prior, as you know,
Yeah,
went
so
to
you
someone
wanna
else. They
make
give him
sure
6 months. to
Before
take-
you actually become the owner of the property, you want to get zoning board approval. So
I
you
would
move
like to.
forward.
I would
Well,
like to.
it's common,
It's-
you know,
it's-
it's a business
Yes.
decision.
Yes. With the
Sure.
support of the neighbors, support of the
I don't think
administration.
you'll have any opposition.
I hope not, but you know as well as I do.
They accepted you, received you very well at the last meeting.
Yes, thank you. So March 1st will be at the South End meeting. I believe they're holding a meeting for me to go over this, and as I committed to the South End Association and to Representative Alan Sylvia, I will be attending the meetings to keep them informed of all the progress.
Okay, March 1st.
I believe it's March 1st.
Yeah, it's always the first Thursday of the month.
You would know more than I do. You attend these
Yes.
meetings quite frequently.
That sounds right, March 1st. If that's a Thursday,
Yes.
that's when we hold a meeting. So
Yeah,
it's
I
always
will
the
be
first.
going over these plans with them and taking all the questions from and their inputs. Obviously, input is important. They were there around this piece of property, and I would love their response to and their ideas.
Well, we're getting down to the end of the program. You had a nice write-up in the paper. I believe that was Monday?
I didn't read this.
Yeah, February 12th, Monday. Back in the paper. There you are, King Phillip Mill development meets first deadline. All right, so they're keeping an eye on you.
Yes, I love it. So we just want to get this project done, you know.
Yeah.
Enough talking about it.
How long do you think it's going to take from start to finish, roughly?
Realistically, people don't know there's a lot of paperwork involved. As you know, engineering, which is you've seen this plan, surveying, they got involved with property survey, deed, which means they want to know that if the deed is good, that's going to be passed on to me. Actual property survey, which takes place so we know exactly where the distances are, where they are, actual plans, which you will see in front of you. On this side, the demolition, hire the professionals to go in and take all the stuff inside, hire the demolition company that's going to do all that, and the permitting process.
Now, once you become owner, you'll be liable for the real estate taxes.
That is correct.
Yeah. The fence around the property, you'll keep that there for a while?
We're going to keep everything for a
Safety,
while. We're going to keep everything for a while during demolition.
Yeah.
We'll be working with the city. The city's been great.
Now, you won't be there 5 o'clock in the morning making noise.
No, never. I don't get out of bed before 8 anyway. So,
Is that right?
no, just joking. So, yeah,
You know,
we will be working with.
neighbors don't want to hear noise 10 o'clock at night.
No. We will be working really
Regular-
nice with the neighbor, of course.
Regular
Yeah.
working hours.
Yeah. I'm very
Neighbor comes
important
across
for me, the
street
neighbors.
And he says, I need a wheelbarrow full of bricks.
No problem.
No problem.
No problem. Be my guest. Come
Yeah.
down and get it. You know, as you know, you've been involved with this for a while, Richard. What do you think? This is exciting.
Well, I think it's the best proposal. I really couldn't see having you know that many apartments there. It didn't bode well for as far as the neighbors were concerned, and I think it would just added to a tremendous amount of congestion. But we're at the end of the program. Listen, nice to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome you to come back 3 months from now or something.
No problem.
Give us a progress report, and I'm sure the audience will be happy. So if you're out there and you're interested in a house, and you want something that's on this plan, you speak to Mr. Kfoury, and maybe you'll be the first one. You can pick out where you want to be located on this plan. So,
Thank you so much for
Keep that
having
in
me on the
mind.
program. And thanks for everyone that's involved in support of the project or not. Like I said, I'm looking forward to work with the city, with the neighbors and everyone else.
okay, thank you out there for watching, and see you next time.